Hello and welcome to Shaping the Irish Flute, the video series about Irish flute players around the world who are making the Irish flute today. We're very lucky to be joined by a great flute player, Brendan Mulholland from Northern Ireland. He's not only a great player, but also a very passionate teacher who's teaching online and in Ireland. And he's a permanent member of the duo Mulholland-McCluskey and the band Music in the Glen. Feel free to join us for our next episodes every Monday at 7 p.m. Irish time, and we hope to see you more and more over the next few weeks. So here's to you, Brendan. So we are here with Brendan. Hey Brendan, how are you doing?
Hi Michelle, it's good to see you.
Very good to see you. Thanks for joining in today. The
No
very
problem.
first Shaping Irish Flute interview. So we're happy to have you here, and I have a few questions for you. The first one would be easy and really straightforward. How and when did you start the flute?
Very good question. I started playing the flute when I was 11 years old. Okay, I'm currently now 46, so I've been playing for quite a while. I think that was in 19. It must have been in around 1982, 83, maybe.
Okay.
I started in around that time anyway. I played the tin whistle for a few years before that, when I was about 8 or 9. My brother played banjo, and one of my best friends played the fiddle. We went to the McPeaks in Belfast, and I was never much used to the whistle. I couldn't get into it at all. And then when I got the flute,
And
it
we
just
hope to see you
made sense to me,
more and
and I
more
loved the
over the
sound of it.
next few weeks.
So
So here's
at
to you,
the age of
Brendan.
11, I just came obsessed with the flute, and then started listening to Matt Malloy, Planksty, the Chieftains, the Bothy Band, things like that there, and Seamus Tansey. And that was it. I think until I was about 16, I never sat it down. I just kept playing and playing and playing. I just loved it that much.
You got the bug.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, so you kind of answered my other questions. My next question is, who influenced your flute playing early on and then along your journey?
Well, yeah, I never had a teacher. I never had a flute teacher, so I'm sort of more or less completely self-taught, you know. But I spent many years listening to Matt Malloy because we didn't have anything else in the house. Mum and Dad would have listened to country and western, maybe the Chieftains, the Clancy Brothers, with tones, people like that, folk music and that. So that was been the only other influences, but Matt Malloy definitely would have been very strong influence. Um, Seamus Tansey, as I say, the Bothy Band, Planksty, Chieftains, things like that there. But I was also influenced by many other different types of music, like rock music,
Yeah.
metal music, and stuff like that there. So that was my introduction to music.
Okay. How would you say your style have changed over time, and how would you describe Brendan Mulholland's flute playing?
um, that's a difficult question.
It is.
I suppose when you're young, okay, you're doing it. I suppose like I am like for fun as well, like, but I suppose it's more of a career now. But you try to, when you're young, you hear something on a LP or a cassette tape, and you try to hear it back, or if you go to a session and you hear a flute player, you remember it and you try to hear it back and play it, you know. And I suppose I was a lot older before I heard myself recorded. So having the style and having this and that, I never thought about it. But it was evident for me when I had listened to so much Matt Malloy and stuff like that. Whenever I went into Belfast when I was like late teens,
Mhm.
um, they had their own type of style. Some of the flute players had a sort of quite breathy, punchy style, which I love, really love. But I didn't play that way. And that was the first time, I say I was maybe 20 years of age, when I realized my sort of style is different to some of the guys in the city. So I just
Yeah.
thought it was a city thing and a country thing. And then as I got older, I started to listen a lot to Breton music, Jean-Michel Villon. I think I met Jean-Michel for the first time when I was about 23 or 4, and it
Okay.
was it was a game changer for me, just a complete game changer. So listen to him a lot, and people like Kevin Crawford, um, Fluke as well. But as well as that, I listened to a lot of old players too. So I suppose my style is somewhere in the middle of all that. I don't go out in particular think of a style. I just I play from the heart, and whatever comes out comes out.
Okay. Um, you mentioned like listening to LPs and records and going to sessions. Would you say the learning the flute has changed over time? And what kind of difference would you see in today's learning in comparison to what you used to do, like say 20, 30 years ago?
It's changed dramatically. Um, not ever having a teacher, I never went to workshops like they have now. I didn't even know workshops existed back then, but I did go to the Willie Clancy School
Hmm.
when I went once. I think when I was about maybe 12 or 13, 12 actually. And that was the only tuition I did have. I was a kid in a group of adults. Um, but the playing now, you can go online, you can look at a tune, you can break a tune down, you can get the notes, and you can do that. I don't read or write music, so I had to listen. Whatever cassette tapes or LPs I had back then was the only thing I had to go on. Or if I kept going to like a session maybe once a month, like where we were,
Hmm.
I remember some of the tunes and not all of them. So you maybe half got the tune, but it became your own version of it.
So you actually had to remember the tunes like in your head.
Yeah, my brother played as well, but I had a friend. He had a brilliant memory. I didn't have a so good a memory. I think it's maybe got better with the age, and I wasn't the most academic in the world. So, but what I did hear um, and heard my friend playing, I could sort of emulate a little. But now you can go online, and people are talking about the technique, the tone, this, that, and the other. That was never talked about when I was young. It was just there's the flute, go and play it, see how you get on. That was
That's
it.
fun. So would you say the flute maybe has become more professional than it used to be?
Definitely, definitely. I have a, I have a real passion for teaching the flute, and I think that passion for teaching comes from not having a teacher ever, and spending years working out on a keyless flute what some of these notes were in the Matt Malloy albums, and I didn't realize there was a keyed flute. Didn't even know a keyed flute existed. So I was trying. I can't seem to play that way. Maybe I'm not good enough. But then when I got a keyed flute, I was able to figure out. All right, I think I know what they're doing now. So that's why I spent a long time figuring out keys and stuff. And I like to teach the technique of keys and using the throat and using the fingers. Because when you spend so many years listening to a small passage of music on a particular tune,
Hmm.
it becomes ingrained in your brain. Where now I could have a young kid, like 12 or 13, and I could show them like that. This
Yeah.
is how you do that. And they get it right away. And I was thinking, do you know how long it took me to figure that out?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. As
changed
I
dramatically
mentioned,
that way. And I love passing on what it, because God knows where they'll take it whenever we're not about, you know?
that's true. And I mentioned it in the introduction, but I'll say it again here. Brendan, you're giving classes, so this is your, your spot to advertise the classes you're giving on like Skype and Facebook, is it?
Yeah, I teach in Skype. I've been teaching in Skype for about 4 to 5 years. I quite enjoy it very much. You get to meet people all over the world, which is great. And I love every aspect of it. I love teaching the the technique, getting right down into the technique for more advanced players. And at the same time, I love teaching people who are just starting out and learning. You know, it's a great satisfaction when you teach somebody two jigs or two polkas, and they go, right, go to your local session and I want you to play them. And they turn around and go, I've been going to that session for months or even a year, and I never thought of starting a set of tunes. But now I played a set of tunes and everyone joined in. So that to me is a milestone for them. Well, it's great to see that, as well as somebody more advanced getting into the nitty gritty of what the technique and how to put variations and stuff in. I love it.
Okay. That brings another question, and then I'll get back into the course of my questions. But you're talking about sessions, and having seen you in session, I think you're one of the most inclusive player I know in
Yeah.
sessions. Really bringing everyone along and trying to get everyone to participate. Would you say the sessions have changed though over time, or do you have still the same feel as sessions 30 years ago, for instance?
Um, I I remember going to sessions when I was 9 and 10 years of age. Okay, out where I live in Glenavy, County Antrim. We live close to the Loch Shore, and the first session I ever went to, it would have been probably have a good memory for this stuff. It was probably about 1980, maybe 1981, in
Mhm.
around that time. I was playing the whistle, and there was a pub by the Loch Shore called McKenna's, and there was a couple of old accordion players and an old fiddle player, and my friend's parents they brought me down. And I remember these old guys; they were fishermen from the Loch. They were very friendly. That they were super friendly, and they were very encouraging for me to
Yeah.
play. So you would play the one tune that you Sally Gardens or something like that, right? And then they would buy you a bottle of Coke. And I always remembered that it left an impression on me. And I always remember the country sessions like where we are here, everyone was friendly. And then as you get older and you go into the cities, the dynamic of the session changes, you know. So, it's still great music and people can be friendly, but some people don't feel as inclusive. And I always remember that. I always remember observing, seeing people at the outside of a session that want to come in, but maybe nervous to come in, or maybe not invited, whatever.
Yeah.
So any sessions that I would play, and to me, it's the inclusivity.
Yeah.
Everybody together. It doesn't matter about ability for me or who you're playing with or whatever. I don't get precious about that. It's about, for me, just making everyone feel involved. And if everyone feels involved, it's a better session. The best musician for me is the musician that can make a session work,
Yeah.
but not technically the best person in it. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. Sounds fair. Yeah. You mentioned County Antrim. That's a great slide to my next question.
Yeah.
Would you say there's a specific style for flute playing in County Antrim, or is it
Um,
general to Northern Ireland?
I I have my take on it is I don't really think that there is a regional style really anywhere. To tell you the truth, I think it's a preference how people play. Okay, it depends what your influences were growing up. I was strongly influenced by, say, the like of Malloy, Seamus Tansey, and then as I got older, I listened to Jean-Michel Villon, and there's other brands like Sylvain, Brew,
Mhm.
people like that. So my journey of listening to that there, and listening to commercial music like say Lunasa, Kevin Crawford's amazing player, listen to all these players, John Wynn from Roscommon. I think it's just if you put all that together, that's how the individual should play. You know, people say there's the breathy, pulsating sort of Belfast style of playing, but Conor O'Grada lives in Cork, the bottom end of Ireland. He plays quite similar. So I
Mhm.
think it's preference thing.
Okay.
There's no style. I like every style on the flute. Doesn't good or bad. I love it all. I just love hearing how somebody can pick up the instrument and make it sound so different, and then another person can be completely different, but they're playing the same tune. Fascinates me. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. You mentioned John Wayne. Actually, John is going to be on that series next week. So
Ah,
that's the piece
great.
of information for the viewers out there.
Yeah.
Um, you've taught many flute players around the world. What would be your best advice for new flute learners, aspiring to become a flute player?
Um, the my advice to them would be play music for the right reason. Play it because you love it. You know, most people that play Irish music or get involved in it, just like myself, they just have a tremendous love for it. So once you have the passion for it, you know what I mean, you're halfway there. Okay. I always talk about the three T's: tone, timing, and technique. Okay. And I would spend a lot of time looking at tone, because if your tone's good on the flute, everything else should be nice and smooth, should be nice, pleasing to the ear and to other musicians. Um, I My advice to young musicians starting out: have the love of the music. If you're a flute player, work on your tone. If you get your tone right, then it doesn't matter if you have lightning fingers or slow fingers. It's going to sound great anyway. That would be my advice.
All right. Very valuable one, though.
Mhm.
um, what would be a couple of tunes you love playing, no matter the time of the day and the condition?
Um, oh, that's a tricky
That's a
question.
tricky question.
That's a
There's
tricky.
so many tunes.
Um, Let me see. Well, I suppose every musician will have their go-to tune. Like if you go to a festival and you pick up a new flute, or somebody wants you to try a flute,
Yeah.
there's usually a handful of tunes that you'll play, the ones that you're most comfortable on. I suppose for me, the Green Mountain, the Green Mountain is
Yeah.
usually it's a great flute tune. It just falls under the fingers, lovely. And if I was trying another flute, that's usually what I would play. Um, Good tunes for me, morning or night. I love playing slow tunes, you know. So my go-to flute would probably be the B flat. I would pick it up first,
Okay.
play something nice and sort of relaxing, you know. Planks the Irwin is another great tune. It's an old tune. It's not
Mm.
played that much, but I absolutely love it, you know. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Last few questions. We're like in the middle of a very special and very weird crisis. I must say, we're lucky in France. The bars reopened this week, and we're
Yeah,
starting to have like new sessions, coming up, and so it feels really nice. But it's going to be a long-term thing for musicians.
yeah.
How do you think that COVID crisis will impact trad musicians this year and on the long run?
Um, it's definitely strange times. That's for sure, Michelle. I remember having the last session up in my local pub, just up the main street there in Glenavy, um, and it was just before St Patrick's Day, I think, just before a week or two before St Patrick's Day, and the next session that I had, that we're into the start of June, was on Saturday night because we can social distance. You can have six
Yeah.
people, so we went over to my friend's house and it was just there was about four of us. I think there was really four or five of us sitting playing, but we were also excited just to get outside to play. So I think whenever the pubs open again and the festivals start, it will soon come back. I think it's made maybe more musicians that love it like me maybe sit down and learn a few more tunes or learn the tunes that you thought you knew. So it's really going to be good. I've got to meet a lot more people doing Skype lessons that normally I wouldn't have met. So that's great. Um, but I have no doubt that it will come back. And I think that when we're all sitting at a session in a year or two's time, I think we'll appreciate what we have and not take it for granted. You
That's true.
know,
That's true.
you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I mentioned in the introduction you're a permanent member of Mulholland McCloskey duo.
Hang on, Michelle. I have somebody that wants to come in and say hello. My daughter's here.
Oh,
Say hello.
hey
This is my
Claire.
daughter, Claire.
Yeah, I'm from America.
No, he's from France.
Oh, you're from France? Is that American?
But we're doing an interview, so yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it's easy. You get anyway. Go ahead, Michelle.
um, wait, hold on. Yeah, so you are playing in the Mulholland McCluskey duo, also
Yeah.
music in the Glen. What's next for you? Like, what are the plans for the next, few months?
Well, there isn't a whole lot of plans over the summer. We did have gigs planned, myself and Mickey, Mulholland McCluskey duo, a few in France and Germany and what have you, but they've all been cancelled. And a few bits and pieces at the end of the year with Music in the Glen.
Mhm.
We were going to, I think, Holland, Tessel Festival, and there was another few, but they've all been cancelled. So I'm exchanging tunes with the guys, you know what I mean? I'm coming up with sets of tunes, and I'm just setting tunes up. So we're sort of collaborating a wee bit on maybe putting new sets together,
Okay.
which we have time to do now, which is great. I've explored with Music in the Glen a wee bit on the C. We never recorded anything in C, and I
Mm.
love playing B flat flute, but I've never really recorded anything in C. And Connor has a lovely C set of pipes, so we're trying to come up with a few sets in the lower keys. Other than that, I would be in touch with the guys, and maybe at some stage we will maybe do a live concert,
Oh,
maybe
that would be great.
on Facebook. You know what I mean? So in the next maybe 3 to 4 weeks, we plan to do something like that. So stay tuned.
We'll be on the lookout for that. All right, last question for the flute nerds here, because there's going to be a lot of flute, nerds watching the video. What flutes are you playing on? Because it's a recurring question. So
Right. The D flute, which I have in front of me here, it's a lovely Stefan Morvan 6-keyed flute. I have this one about maybe 3.5 years. I absolutely love it. It's great. My B flat I'm playing at the minute is a Grinter. I've
okay.
had it for maybe 13 years, a long, long time. It's an 8-keyed Coca-Cola wood grinter. My C flute is again a grinter. I play an F flute, which I love, and it's Hiet Lejeune, or Gert as we call him over here, Gert Lejeune, Keyless F. I also have a loan of a walking stick flute in the key of D. It's from Sam Murray.
Oh,
So those are the flutes that I would be playing at the moment. When I was a kid growing up, it was always Sam Murray flutes up until I got my first Ruddle and Rose flute, keyed flute, when I was about maybe 20 or in around that age. And then I had a few Sam Murray 6-keyed flutes after that. And then I played grinters for about maybe over 10 years. And then this last 3.5 years, I'm playing this one here, the Morvan on the D. So
Guinness or Smedix?
Guinness.
Jig or reel?
Jig.
Jig. Okay. F or B flat?
B flat.
Okay. Flute or whistle?
Flute always. I never play whistles.
Blackwood or Mopane?
I don't notice much difference in them, right? But I normally would go for Blackwood because I think it's more durable. Yeah.
Okay. Piper grip or standard grip?
Sorry?
Piper's grip or standard grip?
Oh, standard grip. It's called the Rockstone grip. Yeah.
Cran or rolls?
Oh, both.
Both. Okay. Joker. And the last one, slow or fast?
I prefer probably slower. Maybe why I like playing the B flats. More expression in it. Not all slow, but I love the slow atmospheric stuff with lovely guitar behind it. I just love it.
I heard you got the guy for that.
Yeah, Mickey McCluskey. He certainly is a bit of a wizard, all right. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're wrapped up for today. Thanks a lot, Brendan, for answering all the questions.
No problem.
We're very happy to have you on the first video of the series, and we'll hear more from you on Facebook. Do you have any website, Facebook page that you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, I have Mulholland McCluskey Facebook page. There's a website, www.mulhollandmccluskey.com. And also Music in the Glen. I think it's www.musicmitg.com. That's all right there. Yeah, but again, thank you for asking me to come on. Delighted to answer the questions. I love when we're talking about flutes. It's great. So hopefully see a few of you down the line somewhere for a few lessons.
Of course. Thanks, Brendan. Have a great day.
Okay, Michelle. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching, guys. We were very happy to launch that video with you today. If you liked it, you can give us a thumbs up down below the video. Leave us a comment. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Irish Flute Lesson. Join us on Facebook, Irish Flute Lessons, and come on our website, irishflutelessons.com. We're also available as a podcast, so if you want to listen to that video on your favorite podcast platform, look up Shaping the Irish Flute on your podcast platform. We're hoping to see you again next week, and thanks for watching.